how to deal with difficult clients. Now that's also a very interesting question. But to answer that question, I would like to ask you another question. Why do you need to deal with those clients? If the client is, difficult, doesn't pay you on time or something like that, in what situation clients become difficult to deal with? I believe the instances can be only two. One instance could be related to work. One instance could be related to the payments, right? Now, if you're working too much and getting paid too less, that's not a good situation to be in. And if you cannot increase your work, or you cannot charge the client, the payment that you deserve, the amount that you should be getting for your effort, then why do you need to deal with the client? You should just quit and find a new client. It's not your loss. It's the client that losing a good freelancer or good worker. And remember that in the freelance agency in the freelance domain, there are lots of freelancers which does the same job but at a crappy price rate. They deliver a crappy job, and that's why if a client has hired a crappy worker in the past, their expectation and things are at that price level, while you don't fit at that price level. Remember that a mirror and a diamond shine the same way from the far, but you cannot tell the difference until you go closer to them. So that's why if you find the client being difficult, the client has worked with the low paying freelancers, so their mindset and the scope is really limited to that, so it won't fit in your budget. You try once, you try twice, after that quit. Don't deal with it. Your time is too more precious to invest in somewhere else. Now, second instance is related to payment. Let's say you ask the client to pay you the client doesn't pay you on time, or the payment gets late, or any instance related to payment. You send an invoice of $500 or $1,000, and then you have to explain those invoice, like what did you do, even those mention it. That's not something you should be doing. I'll give one very strong reason. The work has always given by the client. You charge to the amount, you assign the amount to those tasks, and then you just send the invoice. You don't decide the task and then you attach the invoice. So you don't need to justify how much you have worked, what you have done, and how much you need to pay. Remember that. And when you jump into doing that, you're investing your time with a wrong person and a wrong client. So you should definitely quit right there and that. You might lose the payment and you might lose the client, but remember that you will be at peace here, and you will invest that time to find a better client that you deserve. That's how you deal with a difficult client. I would suggest don't deal with it. Give it a time, 1 or 2 or 3 attempts. As a freelancer, decide your limits. People say that, don't put limits or don't put things. But as a freelancer, you need to decide certain limits for everything that you do. Like, how much freebies you can get, how much, extra hour you can charge, you can give away for free. Like, all those limits you decide. After someone exceed, how much difficult level of client can you do, how many shenanigans you can deal of the clients, put all these things in a sheet and print it out and put it somewhere. Define the limits of all of this, and once any client break out any of this, the limits, any 2 limits, quit. It doesn't worth the effort, because with experience 2 things should grow. First, your confidence. Second is your payment, is the value. Like, if it doesn't grow, then quit. Simple.